You're listening to the Token and Hobbs Show on the Roads to Liberty Network.
What is up, everybody? This is the Token and Hobbs Show. I am your host, Token, joined as always with my fearless partner in crime, Mr. Hobbs. What is up?
Oh, it's just another wonderful day in clown world, my friend.
Oh, the clown world is in full force right now. There is a lot to talk about. I can't wait to get to it. But first, we have a few announcements that we want to get to first. So for those of you that don't know, for whatever reason, our good friend Bren Backus has started his own solo podcast on the Roads to Liberty Network. It's called the Alleyways Podcast, and he's going to be covering local politics and how you can be effective on the local level. Now, these are going to be every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Central, or is it 8 p.m. Central? One of those two. He'll have it on the an event page for it. And, yeah, they're going to be about 10 to 20 minutes long, and that's going to be fun. Very good first episode just came out, so make sure to check it out. Also, we just had a live stream with Joshua Smith, friend of the show, that went up on our platforms today. It's about 30 minutes long, and we're primarily talking about his run for chair of the Libertarian Party in 2020. And we go over a little bit of his 2018 run. We talk a bit about his work with the affiliate committee and a recent motion he put before the LNC that would have censored a one presidential candidate, Ben Ledger, who's kind of a crazy person, and I wish that motion would have passed, but it didn't, so oh well. So those are two episodes that just went live on all of our platforms, YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, Google, you name it. Almost all the major podcasting platforms we are on. The only one I can think of that we're not on is Spotify, and we're working on that. So that's what we have up right now. A few announcements for the future. We have two special episodes coming up this weekend. On Saturday, we're going to have Brandon Finney of the Libertarian Party Secular Caucus. This is going to be part of our Better Know a Caucus series. He's going to come on to talk about the Secular Caucus. That's going to be July 27th at 8 p.m. Central Time. Brandon's been on the show before. He was a great guest and can't wait to speak to him again. On Sunday, July the 28th at 2 p.m., I have another special guest on. His name is Robin Pearson, and we're going to be trying something different. We've done nothing but politics on this podcast so far, and I'm trying to branch out, try to bring you some different content, see how you guys like that, and if you like it, we'll do more in the future. But he's the host of the History of Byzantium podcast. It's one of my favorite podcasts right now. I'm a huge history nerd, and the old Eastern Roman Empire is absolutely fascinating to me. And, I was listening to his show the other day, and I thought, you know what? I want to talk to this guy. I want to ask him questions. I want to pick his brain, see what he thinks. And he's going to be on the show this coming Sunday, 2 p.m. Can't wait. Can't wait to talk to him and see what you guys think. I want to get your guys' opinions on these shows going forward. Do you like the format that we have now where it's politics only, or would you like to see a series of history podcasts as well, or sports podcasts, or anything? What would you guys like to hear? We want your feedback. So, give us that feedback. You can give us feedback on the Facebook page. You can email us at roadstolibertypodcast@gmail.com. That's our email address. So don't be shy about sending us an email. Our Facebook page, we're always on there to respond to messages. Our Instagram account, Roads2Liberty. Our Twitter, also Roads2Liberty. It's not hard to get in contact with us. So if you want to get feedback, go ahead. So that's out of the way. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, and I think the number one issue that me and Hobbs we're both looking forward to talking about is this very same case out of Canada where this transgendered woman who has male genitalia is trying to force beauty salons to give him a bikini wax. And he's taking these poor women to court in order to leverage Canadian law against them, because his case here is that they are discriminating against him based on his gender identity. And because of that, he has a right to damages. I know you got a lot to say about this, man. But why don't you say, what the hell's going on here?
Okay, so apparently this person calls themselves Jessica, something like that.
Yeah, I'd pronounce it Yaniv.
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 Yeah. Jessica Yaniv, born Jonathan Yaniv, and apparently has a bit of a history in their area, a place called Langley Township, where this person will go before town hall meetings and city council meetings and basically just try and browbeat everyone on LGBTQPAIS2+, whatever the acronym is today. It just on these issues, and it always dresses in it's a flamboyant manner. I think the last time that they went to the city council, it showed up in a tiara and a prom dress with like stuffies, like boob bra stuffers, but they were conspicuously showing out, so it's like, my boobs are fake and I want everybody to know about it, and was just railing about one thing after another. And so now this person has called around to, I think, 18 different beauty salons in the area trying to get a full Brazilian wax. And for those of you who are not familiar, a full Brazilian is like everything from groin to anus and everything in between. So called around to these 18 different beauty salons trying to get this, what they call a gender confirming beauty something or other. Basically it's like, I want to feel like a woman, so I want to do things that women do. 16 of these places, the female beauticians said, no, I want to handle cock and balls. And now, because
which is not a unreasonable thing.
No. And because of that, and because Canada's human rights laws are current year,
they're very progressive.
Yeah, they are being taken to court or being asked to settle out of court for unspecified amounts of money and psychological damages. I'm going to be using a lot of
one beautician settled with him for the price of $2,500 in order to keep this out of court.
Right.
So this dude has a financial incentive to keep this going. But anyway, go on.
But yeah, so 16 out of the 18 beauty salons that were contacted said, no, I don't want to do this. 2 of them agreed to do it. And some of them did it. They said, we don't want our female employees handling male genitals for religious reasons. Some of them said that they lacked the training and the necessary equipment, because men's skin is different from women's skin, and obviously waxing a set of balls is going to be considerably different than waxing female areas. And some of them just said, no, I don't want to do it. I don't feel, I don't need a religious exemption or an equipment and training exemption. I just, as a woman, don't want to handle a man's junk. So no. And now, because of the protected class status of being a tranny in Canada, they're being taken to court for human rights violations of all fucking things.
Yeah, this is absolutely insane to me. And this is really getting at the intersectional argument, because here you're at the intersection of trans right and women's rights. All right. Do trans people have the right to force everybody to treat them as if they are the gender that they identify with? Or do women have the right to not touch penis if they don't want to? No, this is absolutely insane that there is any court of law in any country, anywhere in this world, that actually takes this argument serious. Here you have a person with male genitalia. They have a penis, and they are trying to force small business owners, women, to touch their junk against their will. And if they refuse, they are going to put them out of business. They're going to tell them you are no longer allowed to provide a service to women because you are not willing to provide that same service to a man. All right?
Right. Yeah,
they don't have. Here's the thing: there is no reason necessary to give for this. You don't have to give a reason for not wanting to touch another man's junk. If you're not comfortable with doing that, that's fine. You should be perfectly allowed to do that. And they don't even have the technical training to do it in the first place. Even if they wanted to, they don't know how. That could seriously hurt a person if you're doing a Brazilian wax on them without knowing how to do it.
Right, that opens you up to a whole slew of like possible liability claims. Like let's say one of these places, against their better judgment, decided they didn't want to go through the hassle of the court proceedings and the PR nightmare that comes with denying one of these protected classes their every whim, and says, okay, fine, we'll give you a Brazilian wax. And then they go in there and they do something like, I don't know, like rip the guy's scrotum off accidentally. Ball skin is pretty sensitive. And then what? Are they going to get sued? One of the people says here something about Canadian beauticians licensing. If they don't have the licensing and the training, they could easily have said something like that. But even if they didn't, they do open themselves up to liability.
Augustus Taylor says some Canadian beauticians said the law states they need a certification to perform a waxing job on a male, which she had no interest in getting. Yeah, again, this makes sense. Canada is a highly regulated country. It would make sense that in Canada, they would require a certificate in order to perform a bikini wax on men. That makes sense because it's a different procedure. You're doing different things. You have different concerns in each case. And if this beautician doesn't want to do it on men, so never got the certification, this makes sense. This makes sense. So why try to force them to do that? It's absolutely insane. Thank you, Augustus, for that remark. I can't make sense of this. The fact that this is actually being seriously argued in a court of law as to whether or not this person with male genitalia can force women to touch his male genitalia is insane. And here's the funniest thing about this. This individual, this Jonathan Yaniv, he's attracted to women. He identifies as a lesbian. So here is a transgender woman with male genitalia who's sexually attracted to women, demanding that women touch his junk. And a court of law is seriously hearing this out.
Right, exactly. They say that the slippery slope doesn't exist. In 2016, it was bake the cake. In 2019, it's wax the tranny. This is intersectionality.
This is current year.
This is the progressive stack eating itself alive. And eventually it's either going to come down like a house of cards or it's going to take us all with it. And unfortunately, I'm just kind of here for the ride. I just make memes and snarky content.
Our founder Ben goes, so how long until gynecologists are sued for not doing exams on trans men?
Actually, good thing that you brought that up, because I am reminded of a story out of the UK where a drunk man who was 6'3" with a beard stumbled into an NHS center and demanded a pap smear. And the nurse said, I can't give you a pap smear. You don't have a cervix. And so this drunk guy went off and got a pile of cash for it, for being discriminated against as a trans woman.
I wonder if you could then go into a hospital and demand that the doctors help you give birth. And when they inform you that you have no womb and cannot give birth, if you can sue for that.
Sky's the limit here in clown world.
Sky is indeed a limit. All right. I want to read you something. This is from Mr. Yaniv's Twitter account. He goes, this is not about waxing. This is about businesses and individuals using their religion and culture to refuse services to protected groups because they don't agree with it or the person, and use that to illegally discriminate contrary to BC Human Rights Code and the CHRC. You know what? I don't care what reason they're giving. Here's the thing about it. Individuals should always have the final say in what they get to do or not to do. All right? There's no reason that any business should be forced to serve any customer that they don't want. It's a simple matter of property rights. Whether it's the bake the cake case in Colorado or the Brazilian wax furry dude case here in British Columbia, it doesn't matter. Individuals should be able to use their property as they see fit, so long as they do not violate the rights of anyone else. And I do not see anyone's rights here being violated. This man does not have the right for other women to touch his junk against their will. He does not have that right. And yet here he is leveraging Canadian law that prohibits discrimination based on gender identity to force women to do just that.
Right. It really also goes back to the simplest argument against this, is like, why would you want to force someone who is bigoted, whether they are or not, but why would you want to force someone who's bigoted against you to provide you a service in exchange for your money? If I own a gas station and I'm a flaming Klansman racist and some black guy pulls up to get his tire aired up and I go, I don't serve your kind here, and he drives off and he tells all of his friends, hey, that gas station owner is a flaming racist, do you think I'm going to get much business, not just from black people, but from anybody of a decent mindset? White, black, Hispanic, Asian, doesn't matter. Once everybody finds out that the guy that owns the gas station down the road is a bigot, I'm going to go out of business. So let the market work, is all I'm saying.
This is a quote that I came up with. It's from Canadian journalist Megan Murphy was banned from Twitter for identifying Yaniv as a man, and she wrote in the Spectre USA, in some cases, Yaniv, who is male and maintains male genitalia, used fake Facebook profiles displaying photos of women. In at least one case, he used a photo of a pregnant woman to request the service via Facebook Marketplace. When the beauticians realized he was male, they told him they only performed the service for women. Indeed, waxing male genitalia is an entirely different procedure, which requires particular training and wax. Yaniv went so far as to tell Sandeep Benepal, proprietor of Blue Haven Beauty Lounge, that he was on his period and asked if she could work around the string. So now we have a case of this dude intentionally misleading the people he's trying to get a service from. You know, he's telling them he's on his period. I mean, this clearly gives the indication that you are indeed a woman with female genitalia, which these people wouldn't be a problem, because that's what they're trained to do. You know, but you intentionally deceive them. You present yourself under false pretenses, And then you expect for them to just be cool with that.
Right, exactly. There's got to be some type of a, if not a breach of contract, because there was no contract made, but perhaps something along the lines of, fraudulently entering into an agreement.
I mean, that's one thing, yeah, but I mean, it's hard for me to even comprehend how this is even an issue. It's absolutely insane. There's a few other factors in this, and there's a lot of factors in this particular case, because there does indeed seem to be a level of racism involved in this. A lot of the people that he is trying to force to service him, for lack of a better term, are immigrants. And he did have this to say about immigrants on his Twitter. He said, "We have a lot of immigrants here who judge, and aren't the cleanest of people. They're also verbally and physically abusive. That's one reason I joined a girls' gym, because I don't want issues with these people. They lie about shit. They'll do anything to support their own kind and make these miserable for everyone else." And lo and behold, here we have a case of a dude intentionally targeting beauty salons owned by ethnic people, owned by people who very well could be immigrants, in order to put them out of business and extort money from them. Like I said, he extorted the sum of $2,500 from one beauty salon because they simply didn't want to go through the process of a legal case. They didn't want to go through that hassle, so they simply paid him off. This is making bank simply by bringing complaints against beauty salons, and it could very well be partially, at least, racially motivated.
Anything's possible. I do know that the Canadian Human Rights Court or Commission, or whatever the HRC stands for, is very punitive and seems to always take the side of the aggrieved minority in these sorts of cases, because they themselves don't want to be accused of racism or bigotry or istophobia or whatever.
Good question for the intersectionalist. Who is the aggrieved minority in this case? Because you hear all the time, a trans woman is a woman. Trans woman is a woman. Treat them like a woman. Talk to them like the woman. They are a woman. So, who is the aggrieved minority in this case, if that's what you believe?
Right. Is
it the poor woman who is being unjustly denied her bikini wax? Or is it the minority? Is it the minority small business owner who is having the law leveraged against her to force her to touch a set of genitalia that she would rather not touch? You know where I side on this. I know where you side on this. I know where every sane human being on the planet sides. But where do intersectionalists side? Where do trans activists side? Where do you land on this issue? Who is the aggrieved minority?
Right. You got trans, but it's a man to a female. But then you have a biological woman, but the biological woman is an ethnic minority. So, but she's also a capitalist. So that brings you down a little bit. So the progressive stack is such a muddy morass of confusing, crisscrossing intersections. It changes minute by minute. And the best thing to do for people like us is to not try to understand it, but to sit back and honk.
It really, this is peak current year. This is pink honkler, indeed.
Yes.
I mean, it is. I just want to put on a rainbow wig and a clown nose, run around downtown with a bicycle horn, because it's absolute. Because why not? Is that any more insane than what we're talking about here?
I need to learn how to ride a unicycle.
Indeed. I mean, go downtown right now and find the nearest homeless man. I guarantee you, he is of more sane mind than this Jonathan Yaniv. But see, here's the thing about this case. Right when you think that it couldn't get any dumber, it gets dumber. And quite frankly, creepy as shit. You didn't. This is creepy already, but it gets worse now.
Billy Mays pops out of the woodwork and goes, "But wait, there's more!
Oh wait, there's more!"
And you can't. There's not enough OxyClean in the world to scrub the shit out of this story. Let me tell you.
What are we talking about? Well, we're talking about this Yaniv dude seeking permission from a Canadian local council to hold 3 topless swims for people 12 and up, and parents would be barred from attending. The swim would be for children who identify as LGBTQ2S+. What? I don't know what that means. And would include topless girls. What?
Girls.
What?
Yes.
Yikes. What
Right.
in the hell is this? This is creepy. This goes beyond the simple insanity of trying to force women to touch your junk. Now you're organizing topless swims for 12-year-old girls where their parents aren't allowed to be there. Does nobody else? What is Canada? Can we just invade and conquer Canada and impose some sanity in this place? What? That's even a thing that you can ask for? That you can petition to have? Swims with topless 12-year-olds.
To this person's credit, they did have the stunning bravery to appear on the Alex Jones show today to try and explain themselves.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, you're joking.
No. And
see, guys, this is the kind of relationship Hobbs has. He doesn't tell me anything. He didn't tell me this. He should have, though.
Yes, this person appeared on the Alex Jones show today to try and explain themselves. Apparently, the 12-year-old topless swim meet is not their idea. This is something that Yaniv was merely advocating for, but it was somebody else's idea. And then they dropped a little truth bomb that these sorts of things have already been going on in Vancouver.
Really?
Yes.
This pedo shit is already going on in Canada.
Yes. If you thought Drag Queen Story Time was bad, topless 12-year-old swim meets is going on in Canada. This person, this Jessica Yaniv, was merely wanting to bring Jonathan, whatever.
Yes, I know that's dead naming. I don't care. This dude is a straight up pedophile and deserves no consideration from anyone. So Jonathan
was merely wanting to bring the cultural enrichment of topless teeny boppers to their township. And
what culture are they enriching us with? What the culture of topless 12-year-old swim meets? Where do they do that?
Late stage Western Roman Empire? That culture? I don't know.
Well, bring back slavery and gladiators then. I'd rather have that than this.
Right. I think we all can agree that sexualizing children is wrong.
No, we can't. See, that's the thing. We can't all agree on that. Me and you can agree on that. I hope everyone listening to this podcast can agree to that. But apparently, Canada can't.
Either that or Canada is just too cucked and afraid to say something. Like, okay, well, you know, the pride parades and the debauchery in the street and the National Health Service funding of transitioning surgery, that's all cool, but let's draw the line at the pedophile shit. And they're like, no, we're a protected class too. We're gonna diddle the littles and you're gonna like it. That slippery slope, man.
It's hard to keep talking about this. This stuff already goes on. Do you remember
You have to laugh to keep from crying.
I remember when Milo Yiannopoulos talked about stuff like this. Do you remember back when he lost favor in the media? I guess it was when he admitted that Hollywood elites already have these kind of things where they preen young boys in Hollywood parties. This is essentially what got him in hot water. Is he admitted to this happening, and he admitted to a priest grooming him, and because he didn't consider what happened to him as abuse, people attacked him for it.
Right.
But I don't doubt at all that stuff like this is going on in places, and it's to openly admit it, to talk so freely about it. It's stunning that you wouldn't even think to hide that. But see, Billy Mays is back. But wait, there's more. Because apparently this dude has a very weird obsession with periods, including those of other little girls. So do you have this article pulled up that you sent to me? It's a doozy. All right, so here's an article from the postmillennial.com, and I know what you're thinking. Oh, that's not a real website. Well, it's got screenshots of conversations that this dude was having, and he goes in these screenshots. He goes by the name of Jonathan. So all you trans rights people, don't at me, because he's identified himself as Jonathan in these screenshots. So boom on you. So anyway, there's so many of these screenshots. I'm just going to have to give you the article. In fact, I'm going to drop it in the comments right now. Well, in a minute, because actually right now I'm not on our page. So I'm going to drop it in our comment section here in a minute. And I'm going to read you a series of screenshots from this dude. And we'll see what you guys think about it. Okay, so let's see. Let's go down. How do I explain this without getting banned on this group and sounding like a racist? We have a lot of immigrants here who gawk and judge and are exactly. Oh, I already read that, didn't I? Let's go down a little bit. That's not what I'm looking for. There's so many of these screenshots that I got to kind of pierce through them to find the ones I'm looking for. Here's one. What can I say or do in the change room to, quote unquote, bond with these other girls? The restroom I've mastered to some degree, asking for pads / tampons and complimenting makeup and shit. Would asking for a pad tampon in the change room still work? So remember, this is a biological man. He cannot have a period. Yet he's presenting himself as though he can. And he even talks later on about having periods. All right, here's another one. It sucks because on Wednesday I'm traveling to the island on a ferry, and usually they do field trips. So that means tons of 10-year-old girls in the bathroom when I need to change my pads. Ugh. Again, this person does not need pads. He has a penis. Maybe it's weird to ask a 10, 12-year-old for a pad, ? Or a tampon, ? If she wants a tampon, though, should I give her one and instruct her on how to use it? Again, a man does not know how to use a tampon because he does not need one. And what would I tell her? Like, would I go into the stall with her and help her? That sounds so weird. Yes, that sounds weird. Why would you even ask that? No, you sick pervert. You, a man, do not go into a stall with a little girl and instruct her on how to use a damn tampon. I'm living in fucking crazy land right now. I feel like I need to go full Access Jones right now. You do not follow little girls into a stall and help them change their tampons. What is the matter with you?
Yep. Oh, God.
I'm going full 76 right now. I'm American. I'm a man. I'm red-blooded. I'm ready to fight.
I eat meat. This is a human. This is what we look like.
Male vitality.
Yep. Oh, man. I'm trying to find this other story that I just remembered that I was hearing about today. And apparently there's also another case where back when still identified as a man, he was grooming a 14-year-old girl with sex questions and stuff like that. And I can't. Seems to have been buried in the Google machine.
Here's another one from him. I think my period is going to start on Wednesday when I'm traveling to Victoria and going on the ferry, and my first day is usually very heavy, so I'm going to have to change my pad often. Every single time I take that ferry to the island, there's a field trip with 10, 12-year-old girls on it, each and every time. If I'm in the bathroom and a girl asks me for a pad or tampon and potentially help on how to use it, if it's your first time, what do I do? And you cannot tell me this person doesn't have a mental illness. All right? You cannot tell me. This is a straight up mental illness. This person is a freaking pedo, and they're hiding that pedo-ness behind the veil of transgenderism. That's what this is. This is just a creepy pedophile. This is a dude. Just lay out what this dude. Let's just lay this out. This is a man who is sexually attracted to women. He admits this. He's sexually attracted to women. He is trying to force women to fondle his junk. And now he's trying to organize swim meets, topless swim meets for 12-year-olds where parents aren't allowed. And he's asking whether or not he should go into stalls with little girls and instruct them on how to use a tampon. You forget the trans part of any of it. Does any of this sound like the normal behavior of a human being?
Nope.
This person has a mental illness. This person is sick in the head. And because of current year social justice politics, people are playing along with it. They feel as if they are being forced to go along with his fantasy for fear of being called bigots. And they're being forced to take seriously this man's demands that women touch him in his genitals. This is sick. This is absolutely disgusting. The very fact that there is any country on this planet that would take this complaint seriously is sickening to me. And on top of that, he also shows some very strong pedophile tendencies, which is even worse. This is not a human being who should be. This is not a human being whose complaint should be taken seriously in a court of law. They should have thrown this case out immediately. But because of the trans issue, they don't want it to look like bigots, and they refuse to do the right thing. And the right thing in this case would be to laugh this man out of the courtroom and investigate him for being a pedophile, which is what it sounds like this dude is.
Well, we're only probably about 6 to 8 months away from pedophilia being added to the alphabet soup that is the LGBTQPIAA double plus ungood acronym. And I'm not saying that facetiously, and I'm not saying that as some kind of a swipe at anybody that's currently in that LGBTQ community. I'm saying that these sick weirdos are using your community, and I'm talking to anybody who's gay or lesbian or bi or whatever. They're using your community as a beard to mask their indiscretions, let's call it. And if you don't push back against it, they are going to tack that P onto the end of your acronym, and they are going to hide behind you in order to save themselves when people like me come to string them up like the monsters they are.
Current year, man. This is clown world. We are living in the best and worst timeline humanly possible. Something's going to have to give at some point. And I don't know, man. It's scary thinking about the world we're setting up for the future. It's scary thinking that this is the kind of stuff that's being humored in current year. What's it going to be like in another 10, 20 years if we continue going down this path? I never would have thought something like this would even be remotely possible when I was younger. 10 years ago, can you imagine this being anywhere close to a thing? 10 years ago, can you imagine a court of law taking seriously a man trying to force women to touch his junk and organizing topless swim meets for little girls, and then admitting to such things happening regularly within their community? It's scary thinking about what can happen in the future. Okay, I think we talked this issue to death. We're 40 minutes in. This is the only issue we've talked about, but I mean, it's really insane. You can't blame us for that. So let's move on to another topic. Another topic that is also a very current year type topic. So everyone knows Chris Pratt, aka Star-Lord. All right, everyone knows him. Everyone loves him. He is one of the best, most fun actors in Hollywood right now. He's also taken a lot of heat because he does not fit the typical mold of a leftist Hollywood progressive. What do I mean by that? Well, he's an open Christian. He believes in the laws of Christianity, which condemns homosexuality, which sees it as a sin. Now, most Christians, this doesn't really matter because everybody sins. I sin, you sin, the whole world sins. No one sin is any worse than another. So being a homosexual is no worse than, idolatry, which a lot of people do. It's no worse than lust, which a lot of people do. It's just a thing. Everyone has sin, whatever. But he's taken a lot of heat for that. But now he's taking a lot of heat for a completely different issue because he was caught. He had the audacity, the unmitigated goal to wear a shirt, I tell you, with an American flag on it and a Gaddison snake that said, "Don't tread on me." Obviously, this is a sign of Chris Pratt's white supremacy, and he needs to be taken down immediately. The Gaddison flag is a white supremacist signal, white supremacist dog whistle, and we cannot allow him to get away with this.
Right. TMZ and Yahoo both ran with the headline of Chris Pratt criticized for white supremacist, in dreaded air quotes, t-shirt, which they promptly had to edit and change their headlines because everybody who's not insane knows that the Gadsden flag is in no way representative of white supremacy. I don't know what groups Yahoo and TMZ and the rest of these absolute brainlets are looking at, but I don't think I have ever seen a white supremacist group use the Gadsden banner or the snake or "Don't Tread on Me" as their rallying banner. I mean, sure, maybe a "Don't Tread on Me" flag might have been flying at any one of these so-called right-wing rallies that they like to conflate with white supremacy. Okay, sure, yeah, but a solid connection that does not make. What we're witnessing here is a simple case of word association. If you put white supremacist in the headline, and then in the article you read through it and it says that Tea Party, conservative, anti-tax, and libertarian groups have co-opted the Gadsden flag.
We're calling it SNEC from now on.
SNEC. Have co-opted SNEC.
No step on SNEC.
No step on SNEC. If you put white supremacist in the headline and then in the article say that conservative, Republican, Tea Party, anti-tax, libertarian, whatever group have co-opted this.
Not libertarians, no.
What that does is it makes a mental heuristic in your brain, those little mental shortcuts. So then you start to white supremacist equals conservative equals Republican equals libertarian equals anti-tax equals Tea Party. All of these things start to get conflated in your brain, and they start to hammer this home over and over and over and over again until you start to think Gadsden banner equals racist. And that's exactly what they're doing. Chris Pratt was not, it was basically a wrong place, wrong time type of scenario. It was less about Chris Pratt and more about, here's a guy with high visibility. Here is a symbol that we want to demonize. Get on it. That's what I think.
Yeah, and he's already a guy that's not on board with the typical progressive narrative. You know, he's, like I said before, he's already been attacked viciously in the media. You know, he's already kind of an outsider in the Hollywood. You know, so
right.
Yeah, go after this guy. Yeah, demonize this guy. This guy, we can touch him with impunity. He's not one of us. He's one of them. One of the Nazis. You know, when you're seeing Nazis under your bed and everywhere you go, then everyone around you starts looking like a Nazi. You see a Gadsden flag, oh my God, they must be a Nazi too, because you know those Nazis were all about not treading on people. White supremacists, they hate treading on people. Treading on people, that's like the opposite of white supremacy.
Right.
You know, It's right in the name, white supremacy. Yeah, they don't tread on people at all. You know, if white supremacy was about not treading on people, that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Yeah, Leave me alone. Don't tread on me. Don't use force and violence against me. But of course, we all know that's not what Nazis and white supremacists are all about. They're all about treading on people. They're all about putting their boots on people they don't like. That's what white supremacists and Nazis do. That's not what libertarians do. That's not what anti-tax people do. Libertarians are all about don't tread on me and don't tread on anybody else. That's what the Gadsden flag stands for. It's the words are right in there. It says don't tread on me. How do you even mess this up? That is not confusing. Don't tread. Treading, bad. Stepping on people, no good. No step on snack. This is not a hard concept to get. Don't do it. And all of a sudden, for whatever, because the left wants to associate everyone to the left of Bernie Sanders with Nazis, now the Gadsden flag has to be a Nazi white supremacist symbol too. Because of course, this is current year. This is the year in which trans women get to force real women to touch their penises. This is the year where you can organize 12-year-old topless swim meets and bar their parents from entry. This is also the year where don't tread on me as our Nazi white supremacist slogan.
Right. It's absolutely insane. And you brought up a point that I hadn't even thought of. White supremacists are all about oppression. The Gadsden banner is the exact opposite of oppression. That's what's so great about the symbolism of it. It's so simple. You got a rattlesnake. You never want to step on a rattlesnake. But Christopher Gadsden, when you design it, he's like, rattlesnake, they don't have those over in Europe. It's not on the nose enough. Let's put don't tread on me just to make sure it's absolutely 100% crystal clear. No step on snake.
Like nobody can ever misinterpret this. Not even hundreds of years from now, people are going to look at this flag and know exactly what it means. It means
2019 comes along and says, "Hold my beer."
Hold my beer. Hold my beer. Don't tread on me means white supremacy. You're a Nazi. You're an evil person. We need to banish you into the Nazi realm.
Back in 2009, 2010. When the Gadsden banner started to go more mainstream, and the Tea Party wasn't just this like hyper right fringe movement that was just pissed off about Obama because he was Obama. The Tea Party, people were like, hey, this whole don't tax me bro mentality, there's something to that, and the Gadsden banner, it started catching on to popularity, and then it kind of jumped the shark a little bit, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, wearing snake it's getting to be a little bit cringy. Now I want to wear snake every day.
Snake is best.
I want to get snake tattoos. I want to get a snake tattoo right here.
Not even the Gadsden snake. Snack. No step on snack. I absolutely love that. I actually saw someone had an actual banner that said "No step on snack" and had the snack on it. And they had
the bad drawing snake.
Yes, the bad colored in crayon snake.
Yeah,
and
I'm still here. I'm not going.
It was flying outside their front door. That's hilarious. I don't know where you get that, but I want one. No step. That is the absolute best. I love it.
I'm sure it's only a Google search away, my friend.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. But you know what? It's a good thing we live in Nebraska and not one of these. Oh yeah, you white supremacist. Guys, he's holding up a Gadsden flag. He's a white supremacist.
Yep. Oh, I forget.
David W. says, I have a snack flag outside my house.
You, sir, are a gentleman and a scholar.
He is indeed. He's now my favorite person. That is awesome. I want a snack flag. Amazon, huh? I'm going to have to. See, if I had a place to fly it, I live in an apartment, so I don't really have a place to fly a Gadsden flag. But if I did, I totally would. I'd put it up. It'd be the only flag up, and it'd say no step on snack. And I would be eternally happy just with that. Maybe a bumper sticker. Yeah, I'll just get a bumper sticker. That's not. Bumper stickers are kind of lame, though. So, yeah, you see all those boomers with 20, 30 bumper stickers on the back. It's just the most cringe thing you've ever seen.
Yep.
Like, my kid's an honor student. I'm a veteran. I fought in this war. I like Trump. I like guns. I hunt. This is my favorite rock band. This is my favorite TV show. Like, no, shut up. Nobody cares. Take the dumb bumper stickers off, you obnoxious asshole. Nobody gives a shit that you hunt. Nobody. All right. Oh, you got a camouflage deer on your truck. Ooh.
Yep.
Okay. Nobody cares. Take it off. You're a dumbass for that. All these people with 20, 30 bumper stickers. I'm sorry. This is kind of a tangent, but.
You have to bitch about boomers for at least 2 minutes. Just get it out of your system.
Yeah, it's not boomers in general though. It's the people who fucking cover up the back of their vehicles with bumper stickers that make no sense, and it's just obnoxious. You're driving behind them, and your eyes are always drawn to the stupid things. Yeah. Always drawn to them. Like, what does that say? What does that say? Oh, it's just another lame bumper sticker. Should have known. Yeah. Oh, what does that one say? That's also a lame bumper sticker. I should have known that too. But your eyes are always drawn to these stupid things. And they're always, these are the same people that have a pair of metal testicles hanging underneath the bed of their truck.
Yep, gotta love the truck nuts. Every once in a while, though, you come across a gem, like the the bumper stickers that say, like, my husband serves in the army or something like that. Well, every once in a while, you'll find a joke one that says, like, my girlfriend's husband fights for your freedom.
Hello, Jody? Is that you?
Yep, Jody. Yep. Every once in a while, you get one of those that make you take a double take. Or then you get the stupid ones like the come and take it flag over a thin blue line flag. And it's like,
my God. You stupid asshole. Who do you think is going to come and take it, you big idiot?
Beat me to it.
Like, you see, here's the thing about it. I think people who do that, they have this image in their mind that of the government hiring Antifa to come to their house and take their guns. That's the image they have in their mind. It must be. Because it couldn't be any further from the truth. Who do you think, if the government ever comes for your guns, they're not sending an army of transgender Antifa folks to take them.
Right.
They're sending the fucking police.
Man,
they're sending the army if they have to.
Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and Dianne Feinstein aren't going to get up into a SWAT stack on your front door. It's going to be the police. Or at the very least, like, a federal agency like DHS. Maybe you might live in one of those jurisdictions where your local cops and sheriffs actually have a brain between their ears. But that's why we have things like DHS, these federal agents that are not from your area. They're not your neighbors. Those are going to be the people that come and take them.
And that's what annoys me about all these cop military washing small government people. But who do you think enforces these things? And hey, we're both veterans. We both come from veteran communities. This is in no way a dig on military folks or cops. Hey, I understand this is a hard job and it's an important job. And a lot of really shitty people are in these jobs, but it doesn't mean the jobs don't have to be done. But you have to keep in mind what these people's job is. They are the enforcement arm of the state. That's what their job is. So if the state decides they want your guns, who do you think is going to come and take them? It's going to be the cops and military. So stop worshiping them. Stop pretending they're like these high and mighty saints sent from God to defend your freedom. They're just dudes. They're just dudes. A lot of them are really shitty assholes. We know because we served with a lot of shitty assholes when we were in the military. A lot of these dudes, they're not people that you want to emulate. A lot of them are, but a lot of them are just there for a paycheck. A lot of them just wanted to get out of shitty situations. A lot of them are not people that you want to hang out with. The population of cops and military are just like the population at large. There's a lot of retards and dumbasses in there.
Right.
So don't think that they're all saints that need your praise and worship.
Right. Cops and military members, that's the thing that I think that a lot of people kind of have a disconnect on, is that police and military, they're not grown on a farm. They're not manufactured in a factory. They're people just like you and me. They have all of our faults and foibles. And it's really bad to make generalizations about a group of people like the police, just like it's bad to make a generalization about anybody. I know a lot of people that I served with in the military that transitioned on to being law enforcement or security. So it is really hard when I see these stories about shitbag cops doing shitbag cop things that I have to point out.
Like we covered last week.
Exactly, like we covered last week. There's two types of police and there's two types of military. You've got the people that are in it for a power trip, and then you've got the people that legitimately believe that they are serving their fellow citizens.
Well, there's a third kind, the kind that's in it for a paycheck and free college.
Well, yeah, they're typically the people that are in it for a power trip too. You know, they see it as easy money, easy power.
It is easy money.
Yeah, all you have to do is kill a man on his knees, apparently.
Right. David says, I was rocking a Make America Great Britain Again sticker. Let's not. Great Britain is in even worse shape than we are, so let's not do that.
In a lot of ways, they're worse than Canada.
Oh, God. Augustine says, law enforcement, not civil liberties enforcement. Yes, indeed. They're there to enforce laws, not protect your freedom. They don't even have a duty to protect you from bodily harm. That has been affirmed over and over and over again in courts. If they see you being assaulted, they have no duty to protect you. That is a legal fact.
That is a Supreme Court case. And I think I read somewhere in like an old gun magazine or like a SWAT magazine, one of those magazines I used to read a long time ago, that the biggest disconnect came when police officers stopped going by peace officers and became law enforcement officers. When your job goes from securing the peace to enforcing the law, that's when you have a disconnect from the citizenry.
Absolutely.
Used to be Johnny Law out on the beat. He would know his neighborhood, know everybody that lives in it. They would know him. Things used to be a lot more peaceful. Nowadays, they're law enforcement officers, and it seems like their job is just there to crack heads and collect revenue.
Mm-hmm. Revenue enforcement. That's what a lot of these cities and localities rely on their police forces to collect fines and fees from the citizens, to extort citizens, to help facilitate theft. And when that happens, you have a fundamental disconnect from the populace that you're supposedly supposed to be defending. Because when your job is to rob the people you're theoretically supposed to protect, then that's going to lead to some very big problems. And you start to wonder, why do people turn on cops? Why do people start to hate cops these days? They're just doing their jobs. Well, this is one of the reasons people are starting to hate the police, is because one of their biggest jobs is not protecting you. They have no duty to protect you. Their job is not to defend you. Their job is to enforce the law. And a lot of times the law is in is intentionally made in order to steal as much from you as humanly possible. That is what they try to do these days. David says,
no victim, no crime, and
No-
anything else is just taxation through citation.
Yeah, David says community policing way better than the RoboCop, you know, and I would tend to agree with that. All right, it looks like we're up against an hour. We didn't even get through a lot of the topics. I wanted to talk about Iran a little bit. Apparently, we're on the verge of war with Iran again. So if we're still here next week, maybe we'll talk about that. What else did we have on this? Oh, John McAfee. We didn't get to John McAfee. Damn it.
I know. That's my boy right there. That's.
Oh man. Well, apparently, we can go a little bit. We can go another 5-10 minutes or so. So apparently, John McAfee was arrested today or yesterday, sometime.
Yep.
He had fled the U.S. He had fled robbery by our government. He went to Cuba, where he announced his run for president of the United States. Probably not the best place you want to announce a run for president as a libertarian. Cuba is not exactly known for its libertarian leanings. So he was out in the ocean, and apparently the CIA came in, swept him up, and took him to jail. And we haven't heard from him since. So apparently they're being very rough with him because they refused to give him a cigarette on the boat. So there's that. This is clearly a case of police brutality. Obviously. I don't know, man. John McAfee's always been kind of a crazy person, and I never considered him a serious candidate for president. But I don't know. It's weird. Everything that happens around John McAfee is weird. So why wouldn't this be more of the weird, same weirdness?
If you don't mind me using this source, because you know I always have to throw one InfoWars source in there.
Oh yeah, I know.
They've got McAfee. They got a story about him on InfoWars right now. So a few days ago, McAfee posted a picture of himself and his wife Janice on a boat with guns, and he said the CIA has attempted to collect us. We are at sea now, and we'll report more soon. I will continue to be dark for the next few days. Okay,
that is such a John McAfee thing to do, by the way.
It says former tech CEO John McAfee and his wife were detained by unspecified authorities Tuesday, according to a person who took over his Twitter account. According to Rob Loja Ramirez, McAfee, his wife, and, quote, other companions were detained by authorities at their latest port of call.
Other companions, that's code for an army of hookers that was there with him.
Exactly. Okay, so these are the tweets from...
This is John McAfee we're talking about. You know he had at least 5 hookers there with him.
Right, so this is the tweets that were posted. There's 4 of them. This is... Loja on fire again. I have good reason to suspect that John McAfee and other companions have been detained by authorities at their latest port of call. I will be operating this account, providing updates as they become possible. I last spoke with John as his boat was being boarded. The situation was tense but controlled. Our conversation was cut short by authorities confiscating their phones. The bastards wouldn't even give him a cigarette. It says, Loja on fire suggests McAfee has a dead man switch in place in case he's been disappeared. If John misses his next check-in, events will be set into motion that I cannot prevent once they have begun, the person who took over the account wrote. John has secreted data with individuals across the world. I know neither their identities nor their locations. They will release their payloads if John goes missing. And then it continues... our campaign for individual freedom and an end to state-sponsored tyranny will continue despite these developments. On behalf of free people of the world, I demand the release of John McAfee and his companions from wherever they are being held. This will not stand. The detainment comes days after McAfee and his wife posted a tweet posing with rifles and claiming that the CIA was hunting him. The CIA has attempted to collect us, McAfee tweeted. We are at sea now and will report more soon. I will continue to be dark for the next few days. I am a presidential candidate with 1.2 million followers. My crime is not filing tax returns, which is not a crime. The rest is propaganda by the U.S. government to silence me. My voice is the voice of dissent. Dissent itself will be next. Later on Tuesday, Loja on Fire added an update confirming the veracity of Tuesday's report. Thank you all good people for the outpouring of support and offers of help following today's announcement. John has many friends in the world, some powerful in their own right. Rest assured, all are working to locate John. There is also some people that doubt the veracity of today's report. That's fair enough and can be forgiven, but you will find that you are mistaken. This is not a publicity stunt. Finally, to the few haters and authority-loving, bootlicking cowards rooting for John's demise, what more can be said but fuck off. Enjoy it while you can, because your time is coming.
This is
The absolute mad lad!
this is the most John McAfee story ever.
Yes!
Oh my God. Does anything normal happen around this man? It's just so insane and weird. Oh my God, we gotta wrap this up though. But I wanted to bring you guys that David says John is a bit of a nutcase, but very talented. Yes, I'm sure he's very, very talented. But yes, a bit of a nutcase. We have a dad joke from Augustine. He goes, side note, if there's 3 people on a boat and have 4 cigarettes but no matches, what do you do? Throw a cigarette overboard and the boat becomes a cigarette lighter. Yes, very, very good dad joke, Augustine.
Oh, speaking of cigarettes, I don't even smoke, but I want a cigarette after that. That just made, I just want to rub that on my skin. That is so good.
Just unroll it and just dump the tobacco on top of you.
Yes, that everything McAfee makes me laugh, and this right now, I'm just
we've been talking about clown world all day, and John McAfee is the physical embodiment of clown world.
Hey, that's Mr. President to you.
If John McAfee and Alex Jones could get together and have a baby, the product of that relationship would be God himself. He would be a divine being that we cannot behold. It would just be absolutely insane. Hey, we got to wrap this up. I got to get up super early tomorrow, and it's already too late. All right, let's wrap this up. Remember, everyone, the website is Jeez, I can't even talk anymore. The website is roads2liberty.com, roads2liberty.com. We are on every major podcasting platform except for Spotify. Follow us on Facebook. We're almost at 6,000 likes. Almost. Let's get us there. We're on Twitter and Instagram. Also, mine's. All those are roads2liberty. Yeah, and check out our future live streams. Remember, Brandon Finney is going to be on Saturday at 8 p.m. Central. Talk about the Libertarian Secular Caucus. And Robin Pearson, the host of the History of Byzantium podcast, is going to be on Sunday at 2 p.m. Central to talk about his show as well. Remember, everybody, stay sane because the world will not. Have a good one, everybody.
Take it easy, friends.